Hello everybody, this is Oak Tree Tarot Reader here and welcome to my pick a card video. I'd just like to start off by saying thank you to everybody that has been supporting my channel. I'm so grateful. I've actually had donations towards it, which I put the link in more of hope than expectation, so I am so grateful for the money that some of you have donated. I really am. I can't emphasize that enough. And just to everybody, even if you can't support me in that way, it doesn't matter. I feel so supported by all the lovely comments that you leave me, and when you subscribe to the channel and like it and everything. I'm just really grateful. The channel has grown so quickly and so much in what seems to me a short amount of time. I just feel very rewarded by it. So I just want to thank you all for making me feel that. The gushing is over. Let's move on to the reading. Today's question isn't so much of a question, it's more of a general reading. I'm just going to look at what's going well in your life and what's perhaps not going as well, and then we'll have an Angel Answers Oracle card for just a little bit of extra information. So it's just sort of a catch up, a check in to what's going on in your life at this moment in time of you watching this video. The reading is timeless, but once you've made your choice and watch the reading, it's sort of going to cover the sort of next 2 to 4 weeks of your life, now and the very near future. So just remember that it is a general reading aimed at a lot of people, so not everything in it will resonate completely with you. So you must just adapt the messages as you see fit, okay, and what makes sense in terms of your life. And if it doesn't seem to make any sense or fit your life, then just let it go. It might not be for you, that part of the message. So we have options 1, 2 and 3. I'll put the timestamps in the comment section, and I will also put it in the description box, along with all of the contact details that you need and all the information that you need for getting a private reading with me, all the information and links for the decks that I use in this video. And so anything that you want to find out, it should be in the description box, and if not, check the about page. So now I want you to meditate on the question, what's going on in my life at this moment in time. A general reading. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths and meditate on the question, and when you feel ready, make your choice. Remember, don't overthink it, don't doubt yourself, always trust your gut instinct. Now, if you need a little bit more time and a bit of silence without me talking, then please press pause, because in a few seconds I'm going to be moving on to the first reading. Alright, those of you that chose option 1, this is your reading. For those of you that skipped ahead of the introduction, all the information on the decks and everything that you need is in the description box. So, first things first, these 3 cards represent what's not really going very well at the moment for you. Something that, it's maybe you need to pay attention to what you're doing. You're not doing the best you can in situations covered by these cards, or you need to pay more attention because without you watching, it's sort of slipping and sliding. So yeah, things that aren't so well. We've got the King of Swords. We've got the 9 of Swords. And we've got the Tower. Ooh. Okay then, so what's going on at the moment is I feel general anxiety, stress, feelings of doom and gloom, possibly even a touch of paranoia. There's very much like the King of Swords energy is the judge, the rational man, the logical man. It's literally a judge in a trial, or the detective, the person who has to use their logic and their brain, looking at the facts, using their words and not their emotions, and not getting passionate about anything, and just somebody who's just pure intellect. So at this moment, you're either not doing that or doing it too much. Interestingly, some of you are not doing it enough. But others of you are just so far into this King of Swords, all about, you know, the brain and what you think about it, being a bit like Sherlock Holmes, and not applying emotions and feelings and, you know, your hormonal passions and the things that are driven by our biology and our needs, and, you know, and desires. So some of you are really not focusing on that, and that's not going very well for you. And others of you are overwhelmed by those things and need to go more into the King of Swords energy. I feel it's the former rather than the latter, that a lot of you are too far into the King of Swords energy. You're too far into your brain and not, you know, allowing your emotions to have a say, not allowing literally like what you physically desire having a say in it. That doesn't mean you have to sort of go against your character and suddenly become this hedonistic bohemian wannabe. You know, you don't sort of swing into that. It just means that you've got to ease off a bit and allow a bit of emotion in, because the King of Swords does have emotions, passions, and all the rest of it. He just at that moment, you know, doesn't allow it to dominate him. But this isn't working for you. This isn't working for you at this moment in time. In some area of your life, it's not helping. We've got the Nine of Swords, and this is where, like, the obvious stress and anxiety. It's normally the girl who's lying in bed with all the swords above her. You are completely, I think, stressed out. Some of you are just not sleeping properly, and therefore you can't think properly. So I mean, this is what the King of Swords could be highlighting. It's what you're thinking about on your own. You know, you're just stressed out and anxious and overthinking something and beside yourself. You might literally, it might represent for some of you none of those things, but more that you're just staying up late and not getting enough sleep. Excuse me. And you need to deal with that. You need to get a hold on that, however that is, whether you go to the doctors or whatever, or if you're fully aware of what the cause of this stressful situation is, you need to start taking action towards it so that you can get a bit of peace and you're not so stressed out and anxious. The Tower card, what's not going very well for you at the moment? I think you don't, you know, this looks like such a crazy chaotic card. I feel that for some of you this is really about that you know, things are just all over the place, so you might not be seeing things clearly. But first of all, the Towers, the sudden card, something suddenly changing, something, so you might be taking some sort of action that's sort of like a flash of lightning out of nowhere, and it's not helping. So you might be lashing out. If you're not getting enough sleep and you're beside yourself, you could be lashing out to others and being not very nice, and it's not helping. Stop it. You know, you're not helping yourself and you're not helping other people. You might be rocking the foundations of your life by your actions, by not allowing the emotional side in, not you know, some of you might not be having much empathy for anybody else. You probably got lots of empathy for yourself, but for some of you, you might not be having much empathy for someone else who's going through a Tower moment, and it would be to your advantage to start having empathy. You know, some of you might say the Tower card is representative at the moment that something around you is collapsing and falling apart. You're finding out the truth of something, and it's making you see a situation in a brand new light. You know, like you discovered an unpleasant truth, and now you don't know what's going on and where you are and what's happening because of this Nine of, you know, that's the Nine of Swords energy. But the Tower card is shocking, frightening and unpleasant, but it doesn't have to be. It's dismantling that which no longer serves you, which is not good in your life. It's bad for you. And when you've got rid of it and you're left with just literally the foundations, and you can rebuild the Tower, you will have a Tower that stands better. It's not going to collapse when lightning hits it. That it's going to be a more authentic Tower to your life. Some of you might be causing your own Tower moment because you can upturn your own life and create a more authentic one. So just be careful of the life that you are creating for yourself, because it might not be, all may not be as it seems, and you need to consider that. Yeah, pay attention to something. Get more details. But yeah, lots of drama There's lots of drama and it's not doing you any good. So these 3 cards represent what's going well in your life, you know, what's going well for you, what you are doing well. So we've got the 4 of Swords. So you are taking time out to think, and this is doing you good. You are taking time out to think things through, retreating into yourself. You're possibly not really talking about it to people, but you are retreating and having a think. The Knight of Wands. You are ready to move forward in a new adventure. And the 5 of Pentacles. So what you are, this makes sense now, you are now dismantling that which no longer serves you in your life. But again, the message stands, it's not going well for you. Be careful you don't get rid of stuff that actually is doing you good in the mass clear out. But yeah, you are doing well by retreating, mentally retreating. Maybe there are events that need to unfold, and even though it's stressing you out and you're lying awake at night thinking about it, by doing this, you're doing the right thing. It's unpleasant when something really dramatic and shocking happens in your life. It really knocks you about. You don't know what the hell's going on, what you're going to do. Everything that's happened before no longer counts, or very little of it does, and you're thinking, what the hell have I got left to move forward with? What have I got left to rebuild my life? And you need that point. Unfortunately, you do actually need, at some points in your life, nights where you're lying there thinking it through. In the quiet of the night, when it's all dark and most often you're alone, and you can just let the fears flow. All the doubts will settle in. And you have to learn to deal with them, because otherwise they're just going to haunt you. But if at night you can lie there and think, well, okay, I have ballsed up, I made a dramatic change and it's not going to pan out, and in fact I've made things 10 times worse myself, and that you process it and you accept, you know, rather than deny, accept, you can move forward. Then you can't ever change things and improve things and learn from them if you don't accept that they've happened in the first place. Excuse me, I think I've got a cough coming. So you're doing well. It's unpleasant, I know. I've been there. It's unpleasant, but you've got to do it. Otherwise you can't have the wisdom to make the decision if you're constantly, part of you's rejecting it. But you are ready. I feel a lot of you are that you're gonna understand what I've just said, because you're ready to move on and have a new adventure, to travel, to move forward, do something passionate. Yeah, just get out there. For some of you, it's literally just going out and having fun. Others of you, it's literally a move. You're moving away from a place, a person, and it's been, you know, the anxiety and the sense of turmoil isn't helping you, but the moving forward with purpose, drive and energy is helping you. And it can help by focusing not on what you've lost or what you haven't got, by focusing on what you have got and what you can get, will give you purpose, a meaning, and a destination, a plan. And sometimes that's all you need, even if you don't stick to that plan for more than a very short period of time, like a few weeks or a few months. It doesn't matter. You've got yourself moving, and, you know, you've got yourself heading towards something. You can always divert and change and do something different. But if you're stuck and stagnant and unsure, you're not going to get anywhere. And I think 5 of Pentacles is this idea of being out, excluded. She's all on her own with the grey pentacle, and there's the 4 beautiful stained glass pentacles there. You are removing yourself from something. It's going to leave you in want. Some of you are just not going to have enough money. You're going to be poorer, or just plain old poor. Some of you might even find yourself living out in your car. You know, this can be really at the bottom of the pile, and you're looking, and that's probably where fear comes from a lot of you, is like, what have I done? I've got no money, and I haven't got a job that pays enough for me to be on my own. Blah, blah, blah. You're doing the right thing by getting yourself out of probably this tower situation and into one where at least you have the control and you're in the driving seat. You're going to do yourself and your future the world of good. And, you know, often you'll look back and say, thank God I did that. So by excluding yourself from something, some of you might be removing yourself from a group that are no longer healthy for you, and you feel excluded from the group and they're all still friends and nobody talks to you anymore. It doesn't matter, you will rebuild your friendship group, you will rebuild your foundation of friends, because you're not meant to be where you are at this point, and you recognize that on what you're doing, even if it's slowly rather than quickly. I mean, the Knight of Wands suggests speed, but some of you it's not very quick, it's in fact that you're just moving. It doesn't matter how long it takes, that you're moving towards something new. With every little step that you take, the better it will be. And some of you are going to accept that it's not going to pay, or it's going to cost you something, but that you need to do it anyway, and this is what's doing you good. So we have a final card here of a message. Be assertive. I like that. Be assertive. So some of you are being too passive, and now you need to get in. You know, the Knight of Wands is assertive, so you need to be assertive. And you know, if there's a message of, oh, you're going to be without, I'm having everything in the divorce, for instance, it doesn't matter. It's not about the money, it's about something more than money. It's worth more than money. And the Pentacles, everybody really associates it with finance, which is fair because it does represent that. But it's more than that. Sometimes, you know, Pentacles is about abundance, and abundance is the things that are worth more than money. And that's what you're going to get. Generally, at this moment, what's going on in your life is a lot of turmoil, but you're moving forward and being assertive, and you need to carry on doing that in order to get the life that you want. So those of you that chose option 1, that is your reading. I do apologise for the bits of coughs. I'm hoping I'm not coming down with something, but yeah, this is your reading. You've got a lot going on, so I really do wish you all the best of luck for the future, and I insist that you take very good care of yourself. If it does resonate, if you want to leave something in the comments, please do. If you want a private reading, you can contact me on oaktreetarotread@gmail.com. The details are in the description box. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you with that, let you process it, and say thank you very much for listening to me. Bye. Hello, those of you that chose option 2, this is your reading. For those that skipped past the introduction, everything you need, decks, information, everything is all in the description box. But these cards represent in your life what's not going very well at the moment. What you may not be doing very well, or, you know, just surrounding you that's just not good for you. And we have the Ace of Wands, the One of Wands. That confused me then, I was expecting the word ace. These are relatively new cards, so I'm familiar with them, but not 100%. The High Priestess, that's interesting, and the Nine of Wands. So what's not going well for you? First of all, of interest for me is the High Priestess, but we'll move on to that. Ace of Wands, so you've got a new passion. I would say that then if you've got a new passion, a new spark, a new idea, a new moment of like, woohoo, eureka, yay, this is brilliant, ooh, it might not be that good for you. So check it out. I mean, if you're thinking there's a great new prospect for you that's going to bring in the rewards, double check you've got the facts. I would also put into this that be careful that this new interest of yours isn't going to be something that can overwhelm your passions, like be addictive, or be, you know, costly, whether it's financial or emotional, or in terms of your energy. Something that's burning, you know, a new spark of burning passion within you isn't good for you, or you're not doing it that well. So if this new thing is a bit of a sure deal, you got to be careful what you're doing then, because maybe your approach, your new passion and drive towards it isn't the most conductive. And I'm going to spread that into your instincts might be telling you one thing, but you need to be careful, because your instincts might not be sound in terms of this new thing. You know, it's a new opportunity, even a new job or a new business idea. High High Priestess. Something you know. I mean, the High Priestess is about intuition, you know, listening to your inner voice, but she's also a learned woman. She's read a lot of books, she's studied lots of things, she knows lots of things. If she doesn't know it, she knows how to find it and does find it very quickly and processes the information very quickly. So you've got to be careful about something that you know or you think you know, because you might find out the facts are not right. For some of you are not listening to your intuition. Some of you are ignoring a new passion. You know, some of you have suddenly felt something, a spark, and you're ignoring it. You're ignoring your intuition. You know, your inner voice is telling you something, that maybe this is a good opportunity, and you don't believe it. You think that maybe it's a burden, that it's hard work, that it's not worth it, that it's, you know, like let's say the inventor who has tried 200 versions to make his invention work. And then he suddenly has an idea for the 201st thing, and he's thinking, but do I want to? If I try it once more and it fails, oh. So some of you, there's something going on, and you're suddenly getting another idea, and you're a bit hesitant towards it. You're not sure if it's worth it. But by doing that, it's not good. So I would say do it. Follow your intuition. Follow your instinct. Follow this new spark. If nothing else, just so that you're not giving up. Some of you, this is sort of like a sense of giving up, and it's not going well for you. But what's really drawing me is the High Priestess, that you are just, I think, not listening to your intuition, not listening to your knowledge. And as again, it doesn't have to be a spiritual intuition or your gut instinct. Sometimes you just know, and sometimes if we're talking about this not working and talking about the High Priestess in a negative sense, it's about not listening to what you know. You know, like for instance, a pub quiz, and there's a question and you're like, that's the answer. No, it's answer A, put A. And somebody else goes, oh, no, I remember it's B. Don't you remember blah, 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 B? And you're like, oh. Well, I'm positive it's A, but now you've said that, I'm doubting myself. And the answer's put as B, and then it turns out it was A and you were right. And you're like, oh, I was right. But you doubted yourself. So this could represent for some of you that you're not listening to something that you know, and it's a fact. It doesn't have to be intuitive. It can be literally something that you do know, but it's not like a daily thing. It's just something you've picked up years ago. Because we all remember things and learn things, and then after a bit the memory fades as other things take its place. So there's something that you're just not listening to, something from within you, your education, your knowledge base, your inner voice. And it's to do with something new, a new spark. It could be sexual interest, it could be even a potential love. I mean, you know, there's this idea of love at first sight, but usually it's lust at first sight. There could be a lust for something, someone, but could be for something like a new idea for a business or an invention, or just something new that you're really excited about, and you're not treating it in the right way. You're not doing something with it that you should be doing. So that's what's not going well. That's what I would say, is pay attention to, if there's a new idea, pay attention to how you're adapting with it, and see if you can improve it somehow. These three cards represent what's going well in your life, what you are doing well. And we have the Seven of Cups, the Five of Cups, and the Ten of Swords. Okay. That clears a couple of things up in my mind. I think that there's something that's over and you're moving forward, but something new's come in and you're worried about it. you're not to worry. You've got your imagination. Seven of Cups. You're exploring your options. You're using your imagination. You're daydreaming. You're fantasizing about the future. But you are absolutely exploring your options. This person here has got a little bit of a guide, you know, a manual. And there's all these different cups, and they're thinking, how do I get up there? That's you. Basically, you're exploring your options, and this is doing you the world of good. So I'm wondering whether this is an option, and you've got good feelings about this option, but inside you're thinking, maybe I won't rush. Maybe no, maybe not. No. You're grieving over something. This is a sad card, the Five of Cups. There's something that's been, you know, spilt. There's a cup lost. There's one still there. There's a couple here, but there's spilt water everywhere. It's all been lost. It's all sad and grieving and upsetting and crying. So something's gone, but you are going through the appropriate grieving process, which is good, because it's inevitable. Loss is inevitable. And pain is inevitable, and dealing with pain is inevitable, but not everybody accepts that. And some people really reject it and, you know, pile on the pain and the grief and reject it and repress it and cause themselves no end of trouble emotionally and mentally. But you're doing it well. This is in the good pile. This is what's going well for you. So whatever rough times you're going through at the moment, you're in fact dealing with it so well that in the future it'll be easier to deal with. It will be less painful. You'll be able to look back at it and it's in a healthy way. It's those that really can't cope with things that end up suffering from stuff 10, 20 years later. But I don't think for those of you that chose option 2, or at least for a lot of you, that's going to happen, because you're going through the healthy process naturally. And if you're not, you need to move towards that. Ten of Swords. Something has ended, or you have ended it, and that is good. Some things are meant to end. Not everything's meant to last forever or for a lifetime. Something's over. You've accepted it. You either initiated it yourself or you have accepted it, and that's doing you good. You've ended one cycle and begun another. So clearly there is something on offer up here, and because possibly you are fresh out of a previous, I don't know, relationship or situation, or you've just got yourself out of a bad place, you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure about this, am I ready, is it the right time, and all that, and you're doubting yourself. But I think it is ready for a lot of you. You don't need to rush it. You don't need to, you know, dive into the deep end. But it's perhaps for a lot of you, it's not a good idea to reject it immediately. Investigate further, you know. High Priestess is you know, she's like the librarian card, the library assistant card. She's a researcher. Do that. Research it. You know, it's like getting a million quotes before you book someone in to do your roof and all that kind of stuff. You get all the information you can before you make a decision. And so I think that's what some of you are not doing, and you need to be doing it. So as well, we've got this one as just a final sort of message for you within the next few months. So if there's something that's on your mind, something that's in play, or this all resonates with a particular thing, something or whatever will be initiated, resolved, or you will know within the next few months. So this is all very short term for this reading. It's, you know, for the next 2 to 4 weeks really. So maybe over the next month you might find these processes happen, and within the next few months you will have a great deal of clarity on the situation, greater control, greater understanding, and all the rest of it. But yes, something will happen within the next few months regarding whatever this reading resonates within you. So those of you that chose option 2, that's your reading, your general reading. If you want to, well, you can leave me a comment and let me know if it resonates and makes any sense. If you want to book a private reading with me, then you can. The information's in the description box. You can email me on oaktreetarotreader@gmail.com. Otherwise, I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself, and thank you very much for listening to me. Bye. Hello, those of you that chose option 3, this is your reading. For those of you that skipped ahead out of the introduction, everything you need in terms of what the decks are and all the rest of it is in the description box. So these 3 cards in this general reading represent what's not necessarily going well for you at the moment, what you are not doing your best at, or what's just surrounds you and it's not that good. So we have, oh, the Empress, the Emperor, the World. Right, so what's not going very well for you? The Empress, the Emperor, the World. What's not going very well is something that you're nurturing in yourself, something that you're investing your time in. You know, the Empress is some, you know, the ultimate manifester in that, from within out. You know, that's why she's represented as a pregnant woman usually. So there's something in your life that you're really not nurturing in the way that you should, whether that's your emotions or some sort of spark of creativity, or literally you're just living a life that doesn't leave you feeling abundant. It's not fruitful. It might leave you feeling a bit empty and desiring of more. It's just, you know, not being in charge of what you create. You know, you might just be ticking along, dead-end job, or a job that, you know, it could be creative, but you're not creating what you want to create. It's not paying what you want it to pay. It's leaving you exhausted and, you know, tired and frustrated. We've also got the Emperor, which is, you know, interconnected card or what, and it's you're not in charge of your own life at the moment. I would say you're not in your own authority. You're not you're not your own boss, I think. And this is probably why you can't manifest in your life what you want. And it doesn't necessarily mean being in terms of your work. It could be in any aspect of your life that you're just not in charge. That you're not in charge. And for some of you, because it's the Empress and the Emperor, like the married couple, is it something to do with a relationship that you have? It doesn't have to be your marriage. It can be anything that's just as important or involved in your life, that it's just you're not paying attention to it in the way that you should, or you're not even aiming for that. Are you aiming to be in a partnership? I just feel that you're not really in charge of your life, and you're not creating what you want to be in your life. You're not living the life you want to live, a lot of you. It's really important. It's really serious stuff. You've got 3 major arcana cards here. And yeah, you're just not cultivating. I think you're just not pursuing happiness. You're not fulfilled. And this is not going well for you. So, you know, you could have a good job, a lovely home, and your marriage is fine, but there's something within you that's not fulfilled. Maybe you're not maybe you're not fulfilling a dream you always had. Maybe you're not traveling the way you always wanted. There's something in you that's sort of weighing heavy on your world, and you're not dealing with it because you're not creating or manifesting what, or allowing to grow what needs to be growing within you, and that could be anything. And you're not being the authority in your own life. You're not being in charge of your own life, making the decisions, or the decisions that you're making are not the best ones. Some of you might be being being a dictator. I can't say the word dictatorial. And not very worldly, not very mature and sexual and bountiful. I think that for those of you that chose option 3, there seems to be quite fundamental problems here with how you're living your life. And they're very important ones. They're just really important cards. And you're not doing it well. Some of you are not in the right place in the world, literally. Because it represents the world. And you're not with the right people. The Empress and the Emperor have importance in your life when they shouldn't do. You know, someone that in your mind immediately you think, oh, the Emperor and the Empress, that's them. You're not dealing with them in the right way. I mean, they can represent your parents. So if your parents are in another area of the world, there might be an element of if something's cropped up with your parents and travel or visiting them or something, whatever response you've had, it's not exactly what's needed. There might be an alternative option that you haven't explored or you don't want to explore that maybe you should have a proper look at. I'm going to carry on. I feel there's more with that, but I feel like I need now to look at these to get a bigger picture. These 3 cards represent what's going well in your life, what's going good for you, what you're doing well. So death, so change. Change. 4 of Wands, foundation of your life, family card, and the Hierophant. 5. Wow, you've got big things going on. Number 3s. Big things. So what's going really, really well is you're initiating change. This sort of clarifies a bit here for me. You are trying to change your life, but maybe if this is representative of people and sort of being fulfilled and trying to have the whole thing, you know, sort of everything going on, although you're changing and leaving one cycle and coming into another and allowing something to naturally end, something to do with this, you're not doing well in terms of the death card. So you're doing well by changing, but what you're leaving behind you might not be approaching very well. So what are you nurturing in this new cycle in your life? What are you going to be the authority of? Where's your power coming from when in this new cycle, and how is it going to fulfill you? Have you thought about these things when it comes to change? We've got the 4 of Wands again. This is the foundation of life card. It's like the family celebrations, the wedding card, the christenings card, the times when family and the people that feel like family come together. So if you're reconnecting with your family or considering them, or there's something going on with somebody like brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, cousins, and the people you've known since you were 4, you're doing something right in that aspect. And this is interesting because it's like mum, dad, family, you know, celebration. So there is something that you're doing right. And we've got the Hierophant, which is sort of going the tried and tested route. It's a learned person, somebody who is spiritually aware, you know, so it can be a mentor. It's somebody like the priest or the parson or the vicar or whatever, the spiritual leader, but somebody who's traditional. They're not going to rock the boat, they're not going to change anything. So in some way you're going a tried and tested route, and that's okay. So this seems to me that whatever's happening in your life, this change is something that's like a milestone birthday, or you're leaving home to go to university, maybe in another area of the country, and you're including your family in this, and you're thinking of your family, and maybe some of you are choosing to study closer to home, and this is all very, very well, and going a more traditional route is going to serve you well. That's going well for you, but there's something else that's going on in this change that's not going so well. So really, what are you nurturing in yourself? This is an interesting reading. There's a lot of complexity to it. You are changing for the better. Something's coming to an end and you're letting it come to an end, and that's doing you good. And you're creating a new foundation. I mean, this is the wedding card. So if you're like actually thinking or planning to get married, this is good. This is good, you know, because we've got the 4 of Wands and the Hierophant. That would speak to me of a wedding. You know, the priest doing the ceremony and the ceremony itself. So some of you are getting married. Death might be some of you are not getting married. Or the marriage that you want, you know. You might be moving away from this parent situation into your own family, and this is good, but there's something with what you're doing with the past or what you're leaving behind, that you're not leaving it behind in good shape. You're not going, you know, like you're burning a bridge behind you when you probably would be best advised to not do that. because of the world. Now again, I feel there's more to say, but I need these. Now I only wanted one of these cards, but two stuck together and came out, so I'm going to look at both of them for you. This is just a bit of extra information. Forgiveness. Don't stop. So I think I have a bigger picture. Something's happened in your family, in your past, and it's now impacting your future family, your future life. Some of you need to forgive. I wonder whether it's your parents. Maybe your parents don't want you to get married to this person or do this thing or establish this foundation of your life. They don't want you to do it. And you have to forgive them for that, for what they've nurtured in you and the authority they have over you, you know. Forgive that. Let them forgive you, you forgive them, whatever, how it resonates. And don't stop what you're doing. Don't stop this change from happening, this death situation. It's meant to happen. Your new foundation of life, your new marriage for some of you is meant to happen. Going the route that suits you, even if it's a tried and tested route with no surprises and nothing exciting on it, it doesn't matter. If you're following the crowd, if you're joining into something and it's the right thing for you, don't stop it. But also don't stop forgiving, and don't stop and end a relationship that actually is an important one if it can be saved or retrieved. You know, some of you, you're like, no, I don't want this family, this whatever situation. No. That's all right. You can forgive and not have anything to do with negative family members or negative people in your life. And that's where the don't stop. Forgive them, but don't stop your life and doing what you're doing and sort of shining. And it sounds like she's blowing a tube or something, a bugle. Don't do what's right for you. Don't let your thing end just because they want it to. And don't think that just because you forgive them that you have to have them back in your life. You can forgive and let them go and move forward and carry on moving forward, and even for some of you, away from them or the situation or whatever this represents. Yeah, there's a complicated meaning there, and I'm wondering whether I have missed certain things in certain situations because of this sort of I mean, you've got 5 major arcana cards in this reading. This is serious stuff. This is a big point in your life. This is a point in your life where things will not be the same after this sort of next month or so. So if it's a case of a wedding and a marriage and there's family opposition, you've got to do what's right for you. You can't let them hold you back. You've got to have your new beginning. And I feel that a lot of you are moving towards that. But just be aware that whatever these represent, the Empress, the Emperor in the world, whatever it resonates for you, there's a better way of dealing with it than the way perhaps that you are at the moment. And maybe by forgiving but acknowledging it's not going to stop you is the way forward for a lot of you. So that's interesting. That's your reading. I don't see any more. Please let me know in the comments section if that resonated with you and if it correlates with your life in any way, if you're happy to do that. Otherwise, that's your reading. If you would like to book a private reading with me, then check the description box for all the details, and you can email me on oaktreetarotreader@gmail.com. I wish you all the best of luck for the future, however this manifests and resonates with you. I wish you all the luck, all the best for the future. Please take very good care of yourself, and thank you very much for listening to me. Bye.